title, Unraveling the Connection, Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Explained. Introduction. Welcome to Digital Banking Zone training session, where we'll explore a critical aspect of the financial world, the connection between money laundering and terrorist financing. This topic is not only important for financial institutions and law enforcement but also for understanding the broader issues of global security. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer grasp of how these two illicit activities are intertwined. Money laundering, a quick recap. Before we dive into the relationship between money laundering and terrorist financing, let's briefly review these two concepts. Visual aids, money laundering definition. Money laundering is the process of disguising the origins of illegally obtained money, making it appear legitimate. Criminals engage in this process to enjoy the benefits of their illicit gains without attracting suspicion. Terrorist financing, a definition. Visual aids, terrorist financing definition. On the other hand, terrorist financing involves providing funds to support terrorist activities, including planning, executing, and sustaining acts of terrorism. These funds are used for a variety of purposes, from acquiring weapons to recruiting operatives. The connection: how money laundering facilitates terrorism. Now, let's explore the crucial connection between money laundering and terrorist financing. 2. Concealing the source. Visual aids, illustration of money laundering process. Money laundering helps terrorist organizations hide the source of their funding. By passing money through legitimate financial channels, they make it challenging for authorities to trace it back to its illegal origins. 2. Legitimizing illicit funds. Visual aids, donation to terrorist organization. Terrorist groups often rely on donations, both from supporters within their regions and overseas. Money laundering can be used to legitimize these donations, making them appear as legal financial transactions, such as charitable contributions or investments, facilitating global transactions. Visual aids, international transactions. Terrorism often knows no borders. Funds need to move internationally to support these activities. Money launderers can provide the necessary financial services, making it easier for terrorist groups to fund their operations across the globe. 4. Exploiting regulatory weakness. Visual aids, weak regulatory systems. Some regions with weak regulatory frameworks inadvertently facilitate both money laundering and terrorist financing activities. Criminal organizations can exploit these vulnerabilities to move funds without detection. 5. The nexus of criminal organizations. Visual aids, connections between criminals and terrorists. Criminal organizations engaged in money laundering may have connections with terrorist groups. They might provide financial services or assistance in moving funds, blurring the lines between traditional financial crime and terrorism. Regulatory and law enforcement responses. Now, let's look at how governments and international organizations respond to this intricate relationship. 1. Anti-money laundering (AML) regulations. Visual aids, AML regulations. AML regulations require financial institutions to implement rigorous customer due diligence (CDD) measures, transaction monitoring, and suspicious activity reporting to detect and prevent money laundering and terrorist financing. 2. Know your customer (KYC) procedures. Visual aids, KYC process. KYC procedures help identify and verify the identities of customers, making it difficult for individuals and organizations involved in terrorism to access financial services. 3. Information sharing. Visual aids, information sharing. Enhanced information sharing between financial institutions and law enforcement agencies helps detect and disrupt suspicious transactions linked to both money laundering and terrorist financing. Four. International cooperation. Visual aids, international collaboration. Countries collaborate through international organizations, such as the Financial Action Task Force (FATF), to develop and enforce global standards for AML and counter-terrorist financing (CTF). Conclusion. In conclusion, the relationship between money laundering and terrorist financing is complex and multifaceted. Understanding how these activities intersect is vital for designing effective strategies to combat both financial crimes and terrorism. By implementing robust regulatory measures, enhancing international cooperation, and fostering a culture of vigilance, authorities can disrupt the flow of funds that sustains criminal and terrorist organizations, ultimately contributing to global security and stability. Thank you for joining us in unraveling this critical connection between money laundering and terrorist financing. If you found this video informative, please like and share it to help raise awareness about this important issue. If you have any questions or would like us to cover specific topics in the future, please leave a comment below. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and together, let's combat money laundering and terrorism.